there, welcome back to the channel. My name is Carrie with bluescitypickin. If you're new here, we go around to garage sales, estate sales, thrift stores to find things to flip for a profit on eBay and only eBay. I am a one platform seller. I do this part-time, so I try to keep some of my administrative overhead to a minimum. Not that I won't ever start to do multiple platforms. That's just not where I am right now in my journey. And you got to do what's right for you. That's my biggest thing. All of this is stuff that works for me, but you've got to figure out what works for you in your business and your model and your life. So this is Ching number 66. This is what sold the 4-day period of September 16th through the 19th. Meh sales, lots of bread and butter, mostly bread and butter. Had a couple of nicer sales sprinkled in there, but by and large, once again, bread and butter. I had 23 items sell across 22 orders. One was a multi-quantity. Of those, 17 were bread and butter, and 6 were sales where I had above $15 in profit per item. My total sales for that 4-day period was $561.55. That is the gross inclusive of shipping and taxes. The sales price, the price I agreed upon with the buyer to pay. I do not do free shipping, so this is just that base price, was $410.73. I had $105.17 as cost of goods. And so my profit after shipping, fees, and everything was $222.69. Great for a 4-day period. My margin was 54.2%. So really happy with that. Let's see, I had something that I lost $5 on, but I'd had it for over a year and a half, and I'm glad to go ahead and see that go. And then I had something that I made almost $20 on. My average for this 4-day period was right around $10 in profit. I had something that sold the same day I listed it. I had something that took 484 days to sell. And then I had my average for this 4-day period was 153 days, which is pretty long. But if you've been hanging around at all over the summer and through the start of this fall, I've really been focusing on getting rid of some older inventory, taking offers on things, so that I can reinvest those dollars into something that is going to either flip faster or it's going to yield more profit. And ideally, it's a little bit of both. I had a couple of those this week, so I was super happy with that. If you have not already, go ahead and get into my 1K giveaway. I'm so fortunate that I hit 1,000 subscribers within the last week, which is wonderful news because now my channel is monetized. I'm just gonna be fully transparent. I've been working on this for a year. It's been a grind. And so I'm super, super thankful for those of you that keep coming back to the channel to watch my videos. I appreciate it so much more than you know. I've almost given up a couple times, and what keeps me coming back is knowing that people are learning from my videos. So let's go ahead and get into this. All right, the first thing that sold was a Bagolini carry-all tote. It was black, polka dot. I paid $7.34 for this at a regular Goodwill back in June. I got an offer for $17. Sales had not been moving at all on that day, so I just went ahead and accepted it. Made $5.43 after 89 days. Next up is an Ed Hardy bodycon dress. It was a Y2K, size large, skulls floral. It was like that tattoo print. It was super cool. I paid $7.14 for this at a regular Goodwill back in July. It sold for $25.59, and so I made $19.42 after 54 days. I was hoping to get more out of that, but I didn't really want to hold on to it for another year. I'm like, I can take that $20, reinvest it, and make more money over the time between now and next spring when it could sell again, not guaranteed to sell again. So I just went ahead and accepted that offer. Next up is a pair of Fit Flop Python printed leather low heel wedge shoes. These sold super fast. I bought these at a regular Goodwill just a week ago for $10.62, so I did pay up for them. But when I comped them out, it looked like they were selling well. So I priced mine competitively and I accepted an offer of $30. And so I made $17.32 after just 2 days. That's an example where paying up worked out for me. So I have others today that you'll hear that it didn't, but that's just part of the business and learning. So happy with that quick flip. Next up is a Chico's embellished tunic top. It was hot pink, size 2, which is the equivalent of a large. It was new with tags. I paid $6.12 for this at a local Goodwill. Apparently the same day I bought that Ed Hardy dress. It sold for $20, and so I made $11.44 after 54 days. Next item is a pair of Jordan Craig. That's a brand to be on the lookout for. I was not familiar with it, but these camo cargo pants, there were so many pockets on them. They were very, very heavily embellished with pockets and threading and seaming. So I just went ahead and snagged these for $1 at my local bins. They did have a few bleach spots on like the lower leg of one, but because of the camo print, they were not noticeable at all. I actually missed that when I was at the bin. So I did mark my sale down accordingly because of that flaw. I had an offer for $24, which I accepted, so I made $17.56, and those sold the same day they were listed. Sorry, got something on my shirt. Next up is a pair of Oboz hiking boots. These were women's in size 9. I paid $8 for these in November of 2024. I don't have a clue why they sat so long. I got an offer for $27, which I accepted, so I made $12.15 after 314 days. The next item is the stinker of this period. This is a pair of Puma women's Future Rider pink, blue, white. They were like an Easter egg color scheme. I paid $13.21 for these at a local Goodwill in March of 2024. I would never do that now. Got an offer for $12 that I accepted, and I lost $5.07 after 469 days, but they have moved on. This is a pair that I even retook the pictures, changed the wording and everything, and that just did not work on these. So I'm like, I just need to get these gone. So they went bye-bye. Next item is the actual longest tail in the store, and I have no idea why this took so long to sell either. This was a Dooney & Burke vintage taupe and tan trim satchel crossbody. I paid $6.43 for this at an estate sale back in May of 2024. It's finally sold for $33.15, and so I made $15.61 after 484 days. Next is a Disney Aladdin read-along book and tape adventure. It was new in the package. I paid 53 cents for this at a local Goodwill back in May. Actually, the bins, Goodwill outlet back in May. I found several other at the same time. I think I found a Pocahontas, a Winnie the Pooh, a Grinch, a couple of these Aladdins. I think I only have one Aladdin left. So these have sold fairly well and pretty quickly. I got an offer for $10, which I accepted, and so I made $6.15 after 136 days. Next is a fun one. This is a vintage Country Bears Jamboree Tyler the Hillbilly plush bear from 1985. He had his hat and his shoes. I had $2 into this from a auction lot back in August. He sold for $10.14, and so I made $5.13 after just 15 days. Next is the multi-quantity order that I had. This was a set of 2 NFL Chicago Bears football wall borders, 5 yards each. The buyer had actually bought the other 2 I had from me in the prior Ching. I had $1.55 into each individual item. They sold for $12.85 each, and so I profited $19.13 today, or in this video. And I had profited about the same on the last one. So I made almost $40 from these wallpaper borders after 225 days. oh my gosh, were they easy listers, easy shippers, and things like that. So this is a case where ecstatic with the $10 each item, not the main return I'd like to give of $40 on a multi-quantity listing and an easy shipper all day, every day. Yes, please. Next is a Buc-ee's Beaver Halloween Vampire Dracula plush. It's from the fall of 2023. I paid $1 for this at a regular Goodwill about a month ago. He sold for $18.95, so I made $14.56 after 24 days. If you do not know about the Buc-ee's Beaver, I have sold every single one I've ever picked up. I've picked up 3 or 4 of just the plain ones, and then this is the first one I found that was seasonal, and he was Halloween. I found an Easter one a few weeks ago that I just listed. So they are bread and butter, but $14.56 for a plush and profit. Yes, please. All right. Next up is a Terra & Co. Brilliant Black toothpaste. This was a charcoal toothpaste. It was new sealed. I picked up a huge bag of sealed, like fancy toothpaste at the bins back in May. This one sold for $7. I had 53 cents into this. I made $4 after 104 days. This was the last one I still had. I went back and looked at the profit that I've made on that toothpaste buy. I've made over $50 in profit from those toothpastes, and I think there were 2 toothbrushes in there too. So don't sleep on it, all right? Don't just go, ugh, it's toothpaste. Nobody would ever buy that. Categorically false. False. And easy listers, easy shippers. Same thing as like the wallpaper border. Next up was a very fast sale, and I don't know if you've seen this haul video yet, but this was a pair of Fila Skeletos barefoot shoes. If you don't know about the Vibram 5-finger, the Skeletos, any kind of barefoot minimalist shoe, I have had amazing luck with. You list them, they're not even in the most amazing condition, but they've sold fast. So I did pay up for these at a regular Goodwill just this week. $10.09. They sold within a day of listing for $34, and so I made $18.93 in a day. Awesome. Next up is bad choices. We're just gonna go with bad choices. This is a vintage 1950s Wolverine like play fridge that I picked up at an estate sale back in May of 2024. I bought this and like a stove. I still have both of them, or I had both of them until today. I paid $10, I think, for both, or $8 for both. I have to go back and look. The price isn't right in here. It's finally sold for $10.20, and the shipping wasn't even crazy on it. The shipping was only like $7 because I had like the perfect box for it. So I made $2.05 after 481 days. And it was in pretty decent condition. So I don't know. This is when I wasn't looking at sell through as much. So I don't believe I would pick that up again, even though it was stinking amazingly cool. All right, next up is an Old Navy women's pink tiered orange dress, beachy, summery, cotton. I picked this up as a test to see if I could sell some of these plus size Old Navy dresses. Like I kept hearing from some of the other YouTubers, like style-based pickup, it doesn't matter. I bought this back in March of this year. It has sat for the entirety of the summer season. I paid $3.29 for it, so I didn't pay too much. I got an offer for $8, and I just went ahead and accepted it. $2.70 in profit after 182 days. Just wanted to move that out so that I don't have it for a whole nother season. Next item is a bins pickup from July that I was thinking about keeping myself, but I didn't end up doing it. I had $1 cost of goods into this. This was a J. Crew Perfect Fit Tee, long sleeve gray, closet staple. $1 into it, got an offer for $8, took that and made $5.17 after 67 days. Next item is a vintage Etienne Aignet tan leather coin purse that has a keychain attached. I actually have sold this before and it came back to me. I did turn off returns on, or not free returns on, a lot of my lower dollar items because for some of these, it's not worth it for me to accept the return because I'm going to be out more money, and the amount that I could make back from it is the cake's just not worth the bake there. So I think anything under $12 or $14, I've turned off my free returns. It hasn't really impacted me that I can tell. I still sell stuff and I still get returns on the bigger items, but it is what it is. So I had $2 into this from an estate sale. I believe I bought it last November. It was relisted in January. It sold for $7, and so I made $3.30 after 289 days. But I really lost money on it because I had to pay the return shipping the first time. So I'm more than less kind of broke even on it, which is fine. It's just part of the eBay business. I try not to get too worked up about it or get upset, and we just move on with our lives. Next up is a fun sale. This was a vintage Rubbermaid personal lunch cooler. It was the 6-pack model, teal, white, and purple. I paid $2.50 for this at a Goodwill back in August. It sold for $16, and so I made $9.82 after 32 days. Next is another one that I would not buy this again. This was a Sack large black leather bucket bag. It was buttery soft in really nice condition, but it just didn't sell. I've had this since December of 2024. I paid $10.96 for this. If I could get it at the bins for $1 or $2, I would probably still pick it up, but not, I wouldn't pay up for this one next time. It sold for $19, and so I made $3.44 after 245 days. And then last but not least, I don't know if you can tell, if you watch my videos regularly, I do move stuff around in my background. My Rainbow Bright stuff used to be right here. I've moved it over onto its own shelf. I have curated some of my Harry Potter collection. I'm still messing with it, but and I pulled some stuff out to sell because it doesn't bring me joy anymore. So I do curate. I don't hoard my collectibles, although you might think this is hoarding if you saw the whole thing. But I do curate, I do sell stuff. That is one of the biggest perks of being on eBay as a seller, is that I am able to sell our own stuff that I decide we don't need anymore, or the kids decide, or my husband decides that we don't need anymore. We are able to sell it and recoup some of that money, which is a massive blessing. This was a surprise to me when I went to go list it. This was a wizarding trunk. So I used to get some of those boxes. Pufferfish Eyes Potion Replica, Harry Potter Snape's Pufferfish. Nothing into this because I've had this for probably 5 years at this point. It sold for $24. Like, what? I guess it's a rarer piece from the wizarding trunk. There were a few other items that I did list from the wizarding trunk that I think I'll make decent money back on, which is good because I did pay for those wizarding trunks. So excited. That sold in a day for $24 and I made $17.43. So super stoked about that. The store allocation of where things came from that I profited from, 72% Goodwill from the bins and regular stores, 10% from estate sales, 8% from my home clean out, 8% from other thrift stores, and then that's the majority, I think 2% from auctions. Clothing came back in clutch this week, and when I say clothing, it includes shoes and accessories. That was 66% of my profit this week, 13% in household items, and then about 20% in toys and collectibles. So I am an everything seller, and I like it because it keeps me interested. I've thought about niching down. It's just not in my nature because so many things interest me and I'm curious about a lot of things. So at this point, I'm not planning on niching down. but we'll see. Maybe in the future I will, but I'm good. My store actually started off as just a collectibles store, and then I did closet and collectibles, and then I just went straight to Blue City Pickin because I was picking up everything at that point. Anyway, all right, so if you haven't already, go check out the 1K giveaway. And once again, you have no idea, I'm just super, super, super grateful. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.